Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick recap of everything you need to know prior to the center launching for Ark Survival Ascended. Now, so quick overview here, the center was the first DLC to release for Ark, even prior to Scorched Earth. So the creature diversity will be very much consistent with what it is that you would find or know from the island. Now, the map's most notable feature on the center is a colossal floating island found to the west of the map. There are also numerous islands that are covered in jungles, tropical shorelines, mountains, and ancient ruins. Now, let's get into some specifics here about what makes this place so unique. So there are a couple of unique biomes that were completely new to the center when it released, and will still be new for us as of Ark Survival Ascended and not having these in the game yet. So the first would be the lava biome. It is a new biome featuring an island with lavas and rivers and lakes. Lava rivers and lakes, not water. This area is pretty similar to the Carno Island on the island itself. It's pretty extremely dangerous with many different predators, including some giga spawns. This is actually the main giga spawn location. There is also one on top of the snowy mountains as well, but this will be the main place you'll come to look for gigas. It is also a great place for endgame resources as well, and also has two of the artifact caves on this island. Now, there is a bridge, a large bridge that you'll notice the moment you start flying around the map that connects the snow biome to the redwoods biome. Now, it is important to know this location because in Ark Survival Evolved, at the bottom of this biome, there is a pretty steep drop into the ocean here. And that ocean itself is actually pretty much a dead zone, as the game border was actually really close to the near part of the surface, just a few feet below the water. So hopefully that's something they resolve, because it wasn't like the island where you could swim all around the map and just expect to encounter a whole bunch of stuff. There's actually just that dead zone there, and actually it also leads to a deeper part of the ocean where you completely just drop off into this endless, deep expanse of water with absolutely nothing there. So hopefully they definitely refine that, because that's something to make note of as well, because that is pretty intimidating or scary when that does happen, and you're not quite sure what it is that's going on. Alright, now I might have terrified you with an endlessly deep ocean, but the ocean actually has some pretty unique features on the center. There's actually two underwater domes that can be used as waterproof bases, offering you a chance to build your own underwater kingdom and just channel your inner Aquaman. However, in ASE, the lighting down here can get kind of glitchy, and it's pretty strange to look at, again, so hopefully that gets addressed. But also, we have to remember that the center was released so long ago for Ark Survival Evolved that so much about the game has changed, and then, of course, the upgrade with the Unreal Engine 5. I'm expecting it's just going to be a beautiful place to build. So fingers crossed for that. But also, if you don't know about that, those are fun little places to go through and check out. Now, let's talk about the caves here. So the center features a unique set of caves. There are 9 in total. Now, unlike the island where nearly every single cave you would explore would have super tight corners, sometimes requiring you to crouch through the caves, and it would just be really, really cramped almost all the time, with the exception of a few open pieces here and there. The majority of all the caves in the center are very, very large, extremely wide open, lots of pools of lava and cliffs to fall down, and you can really just get a take in the scenery. Now, just because they're large, though, does not mean that they are easy. Because they are so large, it can often take quite a long time to fully explore all of them, especially if you are to get lost or take any of the various paths that they offer for the loot drops. And also, they are chock full of creatures, so expect to spend quite a bit of time in here when you are going to look for the artifacts, because they are quite large. Now, just to list off the cave names, you got the Jungle Cave, the Northern Ice Cave, the South Ice Cave, so you got 2 in the snow-like area. You got the Lava Oasis Cave and the Lava Cave, so again, 2 in the lava area. And then you have the Southeastern Trench Cave, the Center Cave, which is going to be on the center island that's floating, and then the Cliffside Cavern. And then the last one here is actually the massive underground ecosystem, which is often referred to as the Journey to the Center of the Earth Cave, and that's because that was the inspiration for this actual design. Basically, it is a hidden biome with its own miniature sun. Now, there are 6 different branching tunnels which will lead you to different portions of this underground world. Or different ways to get to this underground world, and then within that world there are other branching tunnels that will further branch out. Getting in here can be quite easy from some locations and extremely difficult from others, just due to either not being able to fly, having to swim, lots of high level up to 300 level creatures, and then once you are down there, often you will fall into the water from hundreds of feet, and there's absolutely no way back up without a flyer or to build a massive staircase. So you do want to be prepared when you are venturing out looking for this location. And there also is an artifact down here as well. I'm really looking forward to just see how great this place looks with that Unreal Engine 5 upgrade, because I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. All right, so now some other notable features here is the Skull Island. It's an island with the appearance of a skull, exactly how it sounds, and the inside is actually filled with metal, crystal, and obsidian. Now, you won't find too many creatures here outside of the basic cave creatures, but you can find the resources on the inside of the skull, and then there are also quite a few on the top as well. Now, also on top of the Skull Island, you also find a dung beetle, and just so if you want to go through and take one of those guys up, it's a great place to find one, so you don't have to venture into the caves to actually look for one. Another thing to note here is the boss arena. So you can actually see the boss arena from the actual map itself, and because of that, the boss arena actually has a day and a night cycle. Now, I've got some starting tips for you. So the best place to start, hands down, no matter what, pretty much any person you ask is going to tell you, it's going to be the south jungle area. It's going to be the safest place to spawn, just due to having some of the a little bit easier creatures to handle, like your dillos, trikes, turtles, compies, and dodos. It really is a great starter spot until you can have a flyer, and you'll also find plenty of PTs here as well. You can also craft a raft to go through and explore outside of that island once you do leave there or feel like you're in a good spot. You will find plenty of white drops here next to this obelisk. So it's the blue obelisk, by the way. So you also can upload or download things as well. Now, when it comes to resource gathering, initially early on, in this same spot, if you actually go past the blue obelisk from where you spawn in at and just up over the hill at this same starter island, there are actually metal nodes that are quite abundant at the back of the island, as well as crystal all up and down the wall. There is hundreds of metal and probably, a couple of good stacks of crystal as well. So you'll easily be able to get your spyglass and be able to get a crossbow and everything you need all here on the starter island, which is a lot better than situations like you were in Scorched Earth where metal was pretty sparse. These are rich metal nodes, and you will be set early on. I think in general, all non-story maps tend to be a little bit easier to gather resources. They tend to not be as scarce, or they tend to be heavily compact. However, resources have been changed and altered in some of the maps for Ark Survival Ascended, so that is something to make a mental note of. Now, in regards to base building on the center, that has always been, I think, the center's #1 strength. There are just so many different flat spots, unique caves and ruins that really just allow builders to really just build some amazing things. And with ASA implementing so many new building features and having fun things like the shovel from the Bob's Tales DLC, this truly could be the best map yet in ASA for base building. Now, you will be probably tempted to build that raft fairly quickly if you do start on that early island, like I mentioned earlier. But just make a mental note of the fact that you are surrounded by water. And where there is water and an ocean, you can expect that there are plenty of lead sixes. There are far more leads on this map than there are on the island, so just be careful before you throw your raft down and start heading out with all that hardened metal, because it could be a disaster if you're not careful. Also, you should expect that your progression on the center will be slightly slower, or a lot slower, than both the island and Scorched Earth. This can be expected for all non-story maps, and the reason for this is because non-story maps do not have explorer notes. Now, we don't know what changes will be made to this map in ASA, but I would suspect we will still not see any notes added, as it is not a story map. So not only are you leveling slower, but creatures tend to appear at higher levels more often. This means when you're trying to tame early or defend against a raptor pack early on, things can get pretty difficult. But once you're in a more comfortable place and have your own mounts for protection and can tame things, this will actually be a huge asset to you and a positive thing and work in your favor. You'll spend far less time looking for high-level tames and far more time just being productive in general. Now, in ASC, this would often attract players who are looking for high-level Rexes and Mosas and Gigas, as you could go somewhere like the Volcanic Island and just find a plethora of Rexes and Gigas and spend significantly less time than you would on, let's say, Carno Island, having to go through and wipe everything out and rinse and repeat till you found that one level 150. Alright, so one last little note here. The bosses on the center are actually the bosses that you do fight on the island. They are just a weaker version of them. I believe at the beginning here it is just the Broodmother and the Monkey together. So unless something is changed in Ark Survival Ascended, that's pretty much how it's going to be in the center. Now, that will go through and complete the recap and the starting tips for the center. I will be doing an official tips video once the center has been released. I just want to ensure that the actual resource locations and the building locations are set in stone before I release an official guide. And of course, I'm looking forward to the upgraded graphics. That will be a huge plus as well. As in trying to make this video, I probably had 20 different crashes in ASE, and everything just ran significantly slower. But yeah, if you did enjoy the video, then please consider leaving a like. And if you want to see more ARC content in the future, then consider subscribing.